Well, happy Labor Day weekend. I yeah, let's see. I was just thinking about what this day has meant to me my whole life. It's certainly an opportunity to reflect on the work that I'm doing in the world, which is not just limited to the hours that I put in a job. I have done my very best through the years to evolve into a sense of creative self-expression that is inspiring to me, that draws forth from me a sense of fulfillment and love and prosperity and well-beingness. I love the idea of Labor Day being a day to reflect upon not only having some downtime, not only having some playtime, but really considering all that goes on behind the scenes to make up this amazing world that we live in. There are people that are working with technology and developing that and expanding that. There are people that are, making my gluten-free pizzas. There is activity all around the world where people share their gifts and their talents. And this weekend for me is not just about resting and finding that level of balance, but in acknowledging all that goes on to make this a wonderful world. I wanted to share with you what I will be discussing is 3 ideas that Reverend Darlene, these are hers, she's brilliant, right? Yeah. She shared these ideas with me, and I want to give her full acknowledgement for this because I believe that it will inspire all of us to think about our work in the world. And the 3 questions are, how do you look at work? Everything is about perspective. What are your beliefs about work? The second question, what do you bring to your work? What do you offer when you present yourself to anything that you're doing? And the third question is, what does work bring out from you? And I think they're so profound. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. As Terry shared a little bit about the history of Labor Day, I wanted to just read a little bit about this. I must admit it was not that very long ago I really read about what Labor Day was. To me, it was just a day off. I'll be honest about that. I thought, okay, it's a day off, a picnic, and I'm not supposed to wear white afterwards. And you will see me wear white. Long afterwards, because I love white. First, the history of Labor Day. Labor Day, the first Monday in September, is a creation of the labor movement and is dedicated to the social and economic achievements of American workers. The first Labor Day celebration and parade in the United States was held in New York City on September 5th, 1882. 20,000 workers marched in a parade up Broadway carrying banners that read, "Labor creates all wealth. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, 8 hours for recreation." This was the desired goal for all American workers. After the parade was over, picnics were held all over the city, and over the next few years, the idea spread from coast to coast. In the year 1894, Congress voted to make it a federal holiday. They set the day aside to honor the value and dignity of work and rest. So to me, it's all about that balance. It's not just about the work that we do in the world. If we were to look at the first question, how do you view your work? What are your beliefs around work? I certainly grew up in a family that was definitely affected by the Depression. There was a lack consciousness in that family, and nose to the grindstone kind of thing, and do, save, and it was always somewhat confusing to me because I thought that I ultimately ended up learning that my value is based on what I do. The value, the definition of who I am is the role that I serve. And it's so much more. It's so much more. If you look at this idea of work, it's not just about going out and do a job. Many of us have done that. Many of us have to do that. We think we have to do that. We volunteer, we serve, we participate in family, we have hobbies, we have interests and inspirations. All of that is work. And if something is that important to me, I'm committed to doing the work. I'm committed to doing my inner work. I'm committed to strengthening that connection with the divine. I'm committed to having fun. I'm committed to laughing and giggling. I'm committed to a healthy lifestyle for me. I'm committed to my relationships and my friendships and my family. I'm committed to my work in the world. The title of this talk is, again, Reverend Darlene's idea, labor of love, and I'm thinking my life is a labor of love. All that I do, when you think about the idea of work being the energy and effort put into do something to achieve a desired result or an accomplished goal, right? So therefore, it's in every aspect of my life. And what I want to do is really focus on the awareness of that. So my beliefs over the years around this idea of work have totally shifted. If I had stayed locked into the model that was presented to me when I was a child, oh my God, I'd be miserable. I'm a minister. I never expected to be a minister. Nope, I did not see that one coming. But what has happened is over the years I have listened to that inner voice that said, do this. You've come here to share this. You have a gift here. You have an opportunity here. And saying yes, and answering that sacred yes call for me, that's about purpose. Purpose is not what I do as a job. Purpose is about how I serve and bring myself to the world. That action is my work. My work in the world is to be as authentic as I can in all that I do. You see, I believe wholeheartedly that each of us is the divine presence, each of us an individualized expression of that one power, each of us having something uniquely wanting to express itself as God, as spirit, as the universe, as brilliance and wisdom and peace and love and joy through us. Each of us has that. We are all born in the image and likeness of the divine, as we've been taught. And yet to really fully experience that and allow that and tap into who am I? Who am I and who have I come here to be? And what is that? I did my jobs growing up, and then I remember I had 14 years with the Postal Service. And I did it all. I did unloading tractor trailers and delivering mail and working as a window clerk and acting postmaster. And I did that for a period of years, but I had a hard time really enjoying that. It was a lot of work. And so one day I realized, you know what? As a letter carrier, I may be the only person in the world that has this love letter, this expression of love written by hand that came across the country to bring into this woman who lives by herself and has lived by herself for the last 30 years so that she can connect with somebody across the world. When I shifted my perspective, it shifted how I put myself into my work. There's a cartoon that I absolutely love. I didn't think to get it. I probably didn't know I was going to talk about it, but it's a rhinoceros. It's a cartoon of a rhinoceros, and he's painting. And you see the canvas that he's painting on. He's got beautiful mountains and sunrise or sunset in the background. And he's painting, and what you see in the middle of the canvas is his horn. You see, because he always sees this. This is his world. This is his world. This is what he sees, and he doesn't know any different that the world doesn't look like this. So the invitation, right, when we shift our beliefs, is to really expand the idea of, could it look different? Could I look differently at this idea of work? Could I look differently at the way I bring myself to what I do? Can I look differently at what is my fullest experience as this divine light? And that's the invitation this week. So I love that question. There is a quote by Myrtle Fillmore It says, work is for self-expression, the development of God-given faculties and powers, and for helping those about us. Again, work is about, for me, and I would venture to say for all of us awakening and remembering the essence of who we are, it is indeed a labor of love because we are bringing ourselves more fully present to that which we enjoy. I had a teacher once that said, if you don't enjoy doing that, if you don't enjoy washing the dishes in my kitchen, don't do it. I want joy in everything that you do, and I want joy in my clean dishes. And I love that. I love that. When I was in ministerial school, one of my favorite classes was ethics. I know, right? But I read this book that was so inspiring because it invited me to look at the bigger picture of things. And this is that part about honoring the workers, honoring all the aspects of this amazing, expanding, and wonderful world that we live in. And that is, when I get up in the morning to really pay attention. What's the first thing I do? I usually hit the bathroom. Okay, when I hit the bathroom, I'm just like whipping that toilet paper off, right? Where'd that come from? Where'd that come from, and why did I choose that? Did I choose that because that's what my parents always chose? Or did I choose that because it's a little greener than the rest, and I like it, and it has a pretty little pattern on it, and Same with my toothpaste, same with the soap. And so I started waking up a little bit more about everything that goes into making my life the amazing experience that it is, every aspect of that. And I believe that even with my father and the nose to the grindstone idea of work, that the work ethic he was really instilling in my brother and I is that who we are does make a difference. And bring your best. Bring your best to what you do. Yeah, money. Yeah, save for a rainy day. All of that was in there. But ultimately, I became a minister, my brother became a minister. And my father was like, yep, never saw that coming. Never saw that coming. Because we learned, and I believe that those values that were instilled in me very early on brought me to a point of being true to honor myself. Same with my relationships. I want a healthy relationship. I have to do my work. I want a relationship with spirit. I do my daily practice if I want to deepen that relationship. Everything that I focus on is my action. I believe that every action is a prayer. All that I think and do and say is a prayer. I believe that the universe is creative and is always responding to the strongest intention, the strongest thought, the strongest belief that I have going on, whether I'm aware of it or not. So I'm going to do my work, not only out there in the world, but I'm going to do my work and bring myself more fully present to all that I do so that I can experience the fullness of the divine in all things. And so we move on to that second question, what do you bring to your work? I have a friend of mine and her mother, and the first time I had a conversation with them, I was a little confused because every time I said something, when they approached me, they said, I choose to give you a hug today. I choose to spend my morning here at church. I choose to have a conversation with you later. I choose to have a cup of coffee, and I'm thinking, I choose. What I realized was that so much of my life was just some of it reacting to what seemed to be going on out here. Some of it was about really being connected to out there instead of really tapping into this sense of empowerment, of choosing and choice. You see, and that goes for our work too. We get to choose how we bring ourselves to our family. We get to choose how we bring ourselves to the relationship with the divine and our spiritual practice. We get to choose how we do our work in the world. My favorite Rumi saying is, set your soul on fire and seek others to fan your flames. And I love that. I want to do what I'm passionate about. It took me many years to get over this limited idea that, yeah, it's good for other people, not for me. Other people can be rich, not me. Other people can have fun. I'm not sure what that is. I've got to work too much. And, right? When I'm extending my energy out here without bringing myself fully present to it, it's very constricting. It's very disempowering. When I take a step back and I say, wait a minute, back up the bus here, who am I? Who am I? I am the light and the love and the unique expression of the divine. And all that I do makes a difference in the world. All that I am makes a difference in the world. When I can tap into that and tap into the essence of who I am and bring that love forward, bring that passion forward, bring that clarity forward, I move into this amazing, expanding creative flow. Sometimes I'm aware of it, sometimes I'm not. Like I said, I went from doing clerky retail kind of jobs to a factory, to the Postal Service. When I quit the Postal Service, I informed my mother, and she said, "Oh, that's horrible. What a stupid thing." I said, "No, you don't understand. I'm following my heart." And she was like, "What? How's that going to pay the rent? How's that going to put food on the table?" And I thought, oh yeah, okay. And what I realized was I had an opportunity right there and then to redefine what I wanted to do. Remember that book, Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow? I thought that was nice in theory, but there was a little disconnect in that. But what I soon realized was I thought, okay, I'm going to focus on what do I love to do? I love animals. I got a job, no kidding, I got a job at a kennel walking dogs. And within 2 weeks, I was making as much money as when I left the Postal Service. And all of a sudden, something clicked in me. I thought, I'm being true to myself. I'm honoring and living my life in such a faith that I feel pulled forward and I don't know where I'm going. Most of us are living in the mystery in every moment. I don't know where I'm going, but I have faith that divine activity is going on right here and right now, all around me and all through me. And when I recognized that and was aware of that, I relaxed a little bit. I relaxed a little bit and opened up to the possibility of, who am I? What do I want? And then I moved into, I had another job opportunity to follow that, and then boom, I'm in ministerial school. What? There are people I know from the 70s going, what? Wow. I'm listening to that divine guidance. Who I am makes a difference in the world. It took me many, many years to get that, and I am so grateful that I can just relax into fullness of that. And I invite each and every one of you to realize that who you are in your family, who you are in relation to everything about society going on around you, who you are in the world and all the planetary ideas to consider, you are an inspiration, uniquely inspired as the divine to give and to put forth. And I believe we all have a spiritual commitment and responsibility to do that. At least I know I do. The invitation is to bring yourself more fully to your work, to your relationships, to your creativity. That creative flow, when I trust, when I let go, when I stop putting all my eggs in the basket out there and start realizing who I am and that there is pure potential operating through me at all time because we live in a creative universe, I'm part of that universe. Who am I to think myself separately? Marianne Williamson has that quote of, who am I not to feel brilliant and talented and gorgeous and all of that. Holding myself back and thinking and playing small, the quote ultimately ends with playing small. Not very long ago, I had somebody say to me, "Your light is so bright. You have amazing light. It's big light." And she said, "What I find absolutely frustrating is the amount of energy and time that you put into dimming that light. Making excuses, not really putting forth your best, not giving yourself the opportunity, and ultimately that rips me off." She said, "The world needs your light." She said, "I need your light." And I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. Talk about humbling. And I thought, okay, wasn't very long ago. And I thought, I'm going to step out of the shadows here a little bit. And I'm going to bring my very best. I have moments where I don't bring my very best, and we're all doing this dance together, right? We all have our moments, but if I can practice that level of awareness that says who I am is so valuable to this bigger matrix, this bigger idea of wholeness. We all make up the whole. of spirit. We, around the world, make up the whole of spirit. The earth, the planets, beyond, beyond, beyond. We can just go on and expand the ideas around that. This started out with the idea of work, but you see, work is how we bring ourselves to our activity. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter where you're at. Doesn't matter your state of finances. It doesn't matter your health. It doesn't matter your marital status. It doesn't matter any of that. Whether you're single or married, there is love to be experienced. Whether you're retired or volunteering or in between jobs, you have value to add to the world. It doesn't matter the state of your finances right now. We live in an abundant universe. And if we open up to the possibility of really seeing the value of who each of us is and how we can bring that into the world, it doesn't matter what we do. We are supported and we are prospered in that. So Labor Day weekend is this idea of celebration, looking at the bigger picture, resting. I love this idea of balance. Balance. I feel like a juggler sometimes, but most of my balls are up in the air when I'm juggling. And what I like is if you ever watch a juggler and there's a certain pattern going on with whatever they're tossing, right? There's a certain pattern. If you just kind of relax your eyes a little bit and go into the blur, I like that, go into the blur. When you do that, you see this little rhythmic pattern. And I don't want my life just a stable flat line. I want my life to have some ups and downs, some excitement, some peaks, some deep moments of contemplation, some deep ideas to consider. I want all of that in the up and down, but there's a rhythm that is natural and smooth and energetic and absolutely supported. You see, just as the force of the hand going up and the gravity and all that plays into that has got that rhythm going, there is a rhythm going on inside of me. There is a rhythm going on inside of you. There is a rhythm going on in this life with the heartbeat of this planet, the heartbeat of this world, the heartbeat of a creative universe operates at the point of each of us. There's absolute value, and I invite you to really tap into paying attention to what do you bring to everything. And then the third question is, what does our work bring out of us? What does it bring out of me? I can tell you that I experience more joy in what I do now because I am committed to being joyful. I am fully supported as things unfold and I'm living in the great mystery that is life. I absolutely trust the divine. Knowing that I am supported, knowing that I am prospered, knowing that all resources are available to me and through me. I live my life from the point of myself, bringing myself to life, from the inside outward, not at the effect of what seems to be going on out there. Sometimes that takes work. That's taken me a lot of work, because it's easy for me to just throw up my hands and say, okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And I've had moments like that. I venture to say we all have, yes. There's something in me that is alive. There is something in me that is wise. There is something in me that is pulsing with purpose. There is something in me that is so tapped into this creative potential that is everywhere, that if I just honor what my sacred yes is, if I just honor that, again, hobby, work, job, relationship, family, doesn't matter. If I honor the sacred yes and I go with that vibrational yes, then I know that I am tapped into that divine flow of spirit. And yeah, I want to bring my very best. I want it to pull out my very best. I want it to challenge me and question me to the point where I can say, yep, I know who I am. I know who I am. I am very strong in my spiritual convictions. I know what I love. I'm very clear that my favorite color is green. I'm very clear that I love dogs and cats and animals and I love the wild. I'm very clear that I love poetry because it takes me somewhere else. I'm very clear and I've spent a lot of work, keyword, getting clear. But when I tap into that level of clarity, my life is magic. My life is filled with a sense of purpose and value. Dr. Wayne Dyer just made his transition, and his family released his movie, The Shift, as a gift. It was free for a week to watch this movie, and so I started watching that again. And I have a couple of loves about that movie, is because it's filmed at Asilomar, which is where I passed my ministerial panels. So it has a special meaning to me, because when I was at Asilomar when I got licensed as a minister. But it focuses on Dharma, it focuses on purpose, it focuses on shifting your beliefs and tapping into the wholeness of who you are. And I was so pleased to be reminded of that, because I'm at a point of change in my life. This last year, I said, I'm going to redefine myself. Who am I? Who am I without my role? Who am I without a relationship? Who am I without this? Who am I without that? And everything in my life changed, and you know what? I know who I am. And I'm not sure I can put it into words, but I think I'm pretty amazing most of the time. And I think you're amazing most of the time, and I really invite you, well, all the time. Let's just go all the time. For me, it's my level of awareness. I have my moments where I forget. You? It's easy to see the divinity in you. When I'm experiencing something I don't want to be experiencing, then it might be a little bit more challenging to see that divinity in myself. But that's the importance of spiritual community, right? We come together to remember. We come together to go, oh yeah, I have a purpose here. I have a purpose here, and it's different from yours, and it's different from yours. And I'm just going to shine my light. I'm going to share my gifts. I'm going to bring my very best to all that I do. I'm going to honor everybody else and their input into the world. To make my life easy. I have such an easy life. These beliefs, that's what makes it difficult. So the invitation this week is to consider those questions again. What are my views about work? What do I think about work? What do I bring to my work? And what does my work bring from me? Thank you, Reverend Darlene, for those brilliant points, because it's had me really spinning about how all that I do is a labor of love. All that I want to do and choose to do, if I do it as a labor of love, it's got to be fulfilling. It's got to be prosperous. It has to add to the brilliance of the world. All the great leaders and all the great teachers, they knew this. They stayed committed to their beliefs. They stayed committed to their own authentic truths, which are all tapped into the whole truth. There's only one thing going on, and that is God, that is Spirit. One power, one presence, animated as you, operating through you. This creative energy, it's in all the sacred texts. Tapping within. Go within. That's the invitation, and I believe that's the significance of taking some rest time and taking some play time. I love that. I love to play. And I believe that, gosh, I'd be a lot happier if I gave myself more freedom to play. I'd be a lot happier if I just went ahead and was my loving, funny self. I think my relationships would be easier instead of holding back, because I do that too. I think that if I remember who I am and I tap into that light, and I do everything I can to fan my own flames, and I surround myself with people who get me, who get that I'm a spiritual being and that I'm unique, then I can see that uniqueness in everyone else and honor that too. I believe that all of my relationships, all my work, all the effort, all the energy, all the focus, every action I take would be a sacred yes. It would be a sacred choice. It would be a sacred expansion of a greater whole. I love this life. I'm not sure I could have always said that. But remembering who I am, bringing forth my very best, God, it makes it so much better. So that's the invitation this week. Rest, play, laugh, be who you are. Engage yourself in activity that brings out the very best in you, and then watch those creative doors open. Watch life just flood in to go, yes, 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 and support you in everything that you want to do. It's been my experience. And I know that at some level you get it. when you're tapped in, tuned on, tapped in, tuned in, turned on, as Abraham says, it flows. So go with the flow. Be in the flow, be the flow. I wanted to share with you some words from Khalil Gibran. Always you have been told that work is a curse and a labor a misfortune. But I say to you that when you work, you fulfill a part of the earth's fullest dream, assigned to you when that dream was born. And in keeping yourself with labor, you are in truth loving life. And to love life through labor is to be intimate with life's inmost secret. Work is love made visible. So let all that you do this week be a labor of love. May you awaken to a greater sense of who you are and the immense value that you alone contribute to this life. May you awaken to the divine spark that inspires you to want to do more, be more, give more, share more. Life is wonderful. And I am so grateful for each and every one that comes here to shine their light. Because it reminds me of who I am so that I can stay engaged. So that together we make a difference in the world. So that is my gift to you.